How did the Watchtower arrive at 1914 as an all-important date? Their chronology is based on the year 607 BC, which they claim is the year Jerusalem fell to the Babylonians.
Hi, Rose here. This is for all of the current men acting as governing body members. Now, currently, that includes Kenneth Cook Jr., Gage Flegel, Samuel Hurd, Jeffrey Jackson, Stephen Lett, Garrett Loesch, Mark Sanderson, David Spleen, and Jeffrey Winder. As we know, Anthony Morris was removed in February of 2023. This goes for those who replaced them as well. Why do you men insist that we believe a make-believe date?
But for the generation of 1914, time is running out.
How did the Watchtower arrive at 1914 as an all-important date? Their chronology is based on the year 607 BC, which they claim is the year Jerusalem fell to the Babylonians.
As long as you teach a made-up date, this video will always apply. See, I had your back in school, in fact, throughout my entire life. I knew my Bible knowledge. Well, what you taught me anyhow. But come to find out, you were wrong. And everyone who tried to tell me that, I refused to listen because I just blindly believed you. Because you made me believe you were holy men who were the channel for God.
Now, we need to continue to make sure that we are thinking God's thoughts. We need to continue to trust the channel that Jehovah is using. Trust Jehovah. Trust the channel that Jehovah is using.
You taught me all my life that Jerusalem fell in 607 BCE. But that's a lie. As I started to wake up, I started looking into things. The fall of Jerusalem was one of them. Jerusalem did not fall in 607, or even 606 BCE that you once claimed. I know about now the bells are ringing and you men at the top of Bethel are constantly trying to silence these types of videos. Now, if your bells are going off because of what I'm saying in this video, you have a major problem. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing wrong. See, I just want to get the facts out there. If there are any of my videos that you found that I have falsely presented anything, let me have it. By that, I mean, tell me what I got wrong. Don't disfellowship me like you did Carl.
Carl Olaf Johnson, Swedish author of the book The Gentile Times Reconsidered, is a former Jehovah's Witness elder and pioneer minister.
I didn't question this chronology in the beginning because I thought the Bible supported it. I knew, of course, that historians dated the desolation of Jerusalem not in 607 but in 587 or 586. But in 1968 I conducted a Bible study with a man who wanted to know why historians prefer the date 20 years later. So I started to investigate the matter. And I soon discovered that historians had very strong evidence in their support.
Johnson compiled his research and sent it to Watchtower headquarters. But the society's leaders were determined to keep their doctrinal system intact.
I got a letter with a warning. I was warned that I should not share my findings with other witnesses.
To conceal the facts and suppress his 7 years of research, the Watchtower Society excommunicated Carl Olaf Johnson.
Remember, there was a time you taught all witnesses that Jerusalem fell in 606 BCE. It was in your publications. See? Well, that is before Fred Franz figured out the end was coming in 1975. He had to go and add that unnecessary 0 year, changing the year to 607 BCE, which is the date we know today. Here's the word salad that was used. No wonder witnesses just started to glaze over and follow your new teachings. So, back to 607. See, I know what really happened in 1919. You know, when Rutherford and the organization said there was an evil slave. Well, guess what? Rutherford took over the organization illegally. So, of course, he had to call the brothers he kicked out something. Since those brothers refused to just blindly follow Rutherford, They became the evil slave, apostates. When are you going to give that lovely title up? You really have been good at shutting people up, haven't you? Since all the way back to Rutherford's day.
Apostasy.
Apostates.
That the apostates.
And who often have the loudest voice promoting this false message? Apostate.
Come on, you guys at the top. If Rutherford really believed in all of Russell's teachings so much, why did he start changing them when he became president in 1917? Rutherford got rid of all of Russell's teachings, right? Then he made up his own teachings and rules, right? It's in the publications, so you can't deny it anymore. This isn't spiritual warfare you're fighting if you're lying here. I'm not saying anything against God or Jesus. I'm just calling out liars. I'm asking you about specific dates and what you have claimed since Joseph Franklin Rutherford. So you don't get to call my questions regarding 607 BC apostate thoughts just to silence me. If you won't give me a straight answer, then at least have enough dignity to admit it. Otherwise, it's just you lying to everyone about a man-made-up date and trying to deflect that lie on me. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, 607 BCE. Why do you claim that is the historical date that Jerusalem fell when you obviously know that is incorrect? Archaeologists, historians, even Bible scholars have all put the fall of Jerusalem at 587 BCE. And guess what? That goes along with Bible chronology. So stop lying. Why do you feel the need to disfellowship people because they bring out your inaccuracies and false teachings? Are you just trying to shut them all up? Why else would you call them lies? Apostate lies is what you claim.
This is a very serious matter that we're considering today. Think of this. Was the Christian congregation brought down by persecution in the 2nd and 3rd centuries? It wasn't. It was brought down by false brothers, apostate teachings. And so the devil
you know the date 607 is wrong, which makes your Bible chronology leading up to 1914 incorrect. Both the 2,500 years and the 70 years. Since your 1914 date is incorrect and has actually been changed, what happened to the start of 3.5-year darkness in 1916? Charles Russell died. Okay. The organization was still publishing and distributing magazines and books on a regular basis. So it doesn't seem there was any spiritual darkness that you claim happened. So why the big deal about 1919? Oh yeah, Rutherford got out of jail on bail. He and his colleagues had all been thrown in jail on treason. But you never let anyone know about that, do you? You guys have always been so good at whitewashing your past. Until now. That internet. 607 BCE is the foundational date of the Watchtower organization. But without 607, there is no 2,520 years to 1914. Without 1914, there is no 1919. And the whole organization falls like a house of cards. Let me emphasize that again. We all know that 1914 is the foundational date of the organization. But without 607, there is no 1914. I repeat, there is no 1914. Therefore, Jesus did not take his throne in 1914 and did not choose the organization in 1919. This is why everything revolves around their made-up date of 607 BCE. If nothing happened in 1919, who are you? What makes you so special? You keep getting things wrong. You keep changing your minds. You run a business to make money, and you made a lot of money. Aren't you worth a couple of $1 billion now? with all of the real estate you now own? Or are those pesky court cases around the world draining your funds? Is that the reason for all of the donation talks? If you're able to prove that 607 is the historically proven date that Jerusalem fell, I'll take back everything I said in this video. But if you can't, will any of you men sitting, acting as Jesus' voice...
The governing body could be likened to the voice of Jesus, the head of the congregation. So when we willingly submit to the faithful slave, we're ultimately submitting to Jesus.
When will you men be willing to admit 607 is a made-up date? That the organization is a fraud and has been lying to all members since 1919. You were not chosen in 1919 as God's channel of communication. Just because you claim something doesn't make it true. Heck, I would love to claim I'm 20 again and just make it so. But that's not the way things really work, is it? Are you going to back your claim of 607, 1914, and 1919 with actual proof? Or will you just try and shut me, as well as anyone else who brings this up, will you just try to shut us up? That's my question to you this time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, algorithms and all. I'm really looking forward to your comments about this video. As always, stay strong, everyone. Don't let those men in New York win. And thanks for watching.
Now, in this document, they suggest and advance as an idea that the generation that would see the time of the end of all things should not be counted from 1914. They fix on Jesus' statement that there would be signs in the heavens. And so they suggest here that the date should be moved up to 1957, when the Sputnik was sent into space by the Russians. And they say, now this is the celestial phenomena that would indicate the generation that would see the final wind-up.